How's the grade 9s? So I'm going to go through that algebraic fractions worksheet that we gave you the other day. We're going to work through it nice and slowly so you guys can see exactly how we do this. Okay, so the question for all of these is to solve for x. So question A is 3 over x equals 12 over 16. Okay, so just like any fraction type question, we need to find an LCD. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is find an LCD, which stands for lowest common denominator. So you can see here that we have a 16 and we have an x, so we need both of them, 16x. Now here's the tricky bit, grade 9s, is because we have a variable in the denominator, we can't have it equal to 0. Because if you have this equal to 0, for example, like with this one, we have 3 divided by 0. That is undefined, and we can't have that in math. So we have to give a restriction on our variable. And our restriction here is x cannot be equal to 0. So whatever we get here at the final answer when we say x equals something, we cannot have that value. If we have that value, we do not have a solution. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to multiply every term by our LCD. So I'm going to say 16x times that term and 16x times that term. So you can see here that the x's will cancel and I'm left with 16 multiplied by the top equals, the 16s will cancel and I'm left with x multiplied by the top. Now all I have to do is just distribute these into the brackets. So 16 times 3 is 48 equals x times 12 is 12x. So just like a normal equation, we want to get the x on its own. So this is saying 12 times x. The opposite of times is divide. What I do to this side, I do to this side. 48 divided by 12 is 4. The 12s here cancel and we're left with x. Okay, now I must just check my restriction. X cannot be equal to 0, but I don't have that. So this is a solution. All right, moving on to question B, which is x minus 1 over 3x minus 1 over 9 is equal to minus 3 plus x over 9x. Okay. First things first, let's find an LCD. I'm going to look at the numbers first, grade 9. So I'm looking at a 3, a 9, and a 9. The lowest number that 3, 9, and 9 go into is 9. This has an x, no x. I need an x. Okay. Next thing is restriction. And our restriction is x cannot be equal to 0. Okay. I'm going to multiply each term by our LCD. 9x times that one, 9x times this one, and 9x times that one. 3 goes into 9 3 times. The x's cancel, and I'm left with the top. Bring down my sign. The 9s will cancel, and I'm left with that x multiplied by the top. Equals 9x, or the 9 will cancel the 9 and the x will cancel the x, and I'm just left with the top. Okay, I'm going to distribute this 3 into the brackets, likewise with that minus x, and nothing with that one. Okay, so 3x times x gives me 3x. 3 times minus 1 is minus 3. Minus x times 1 is minus x, equals nothing to distribute here, so it's just minus 3 plus x. Get x's onto this side of the equals, numbers onto that side of the equals. So this one stays, 3x minus x, bring that one to that side, becomes a minus x, equals, that one stays, take this one to that side, and it becomes a plus. Okay, 3x minus x gives us x, equals minus 3 plus 3 gives us 0. All right. Now what we need to do is we just need to check our restriction. It's telling us that x cannot be equal to 0, but we've got that. So x cannot be equal to 0, therefore we have no solution, okay, because of our restriction. Going on to question C. Question C is 3 over x minus 2 equals a half minus 9 over 2x. All right, so let's find our LCD. This is over a secret 1, and that's it. Okay, so let's look at our numbers. We've got 1, 2, 2. So lowest number there is 2 that they can all go into. This has an x, we need an x. List our restriction. X cannot be equal to 0. Okay, I'm going to multiply each term by our LCD. So it's 2x multiplied by 2x multiplied, 2x multiplied, and then 2x multiplied. X's will cancel, and I'm just left with that 2 multiplied by the top. Bring down my sign. 1 does not cancel into anything, so we're just left with 2x multiplied by the top equals. The 2 will cancel with that, and we're just left with an x multiplied by the top. Bring down the sign. 2x will cancel with the 2x, and we're just left with the top. Okay, get rid of our brackets by distributing. So we get here 6 minus 4x equals x minus 9. X is onto this side, numbers onto that side. So minus 4x minus x is equal to minus 9 minus 6. So minus 4x minus x gives us minus 5x. And then minus 9 minus 6 gives us minus 15. This is saying minus 5 times x. The opposite of times is divide. What I do to this side, do to this side. The minus 5s will cancel, and I'm left with x is equal to, a negative divided by negative is a positive, and then we have 15 divided by 5 is 3. Check your restriction. X cannot be equal to 0, but we don't have that. Therefore, this is a solution. Okay. Question D. We've got 4 over 3x plus 1 over 5 equals 1 and 1/3 plus 1 over 5x. All right, so grade 9s, before we even try and start answering this question, I need to convert this mixed fraction into an improper fraction first. So I'm going to rewrite everything else out and convert this one. So you remember how we did? We say that times that plus the top one. All right, so 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, all over 3, plus 1 over 5x. Okay, so now we're ready to find our LCD. Look at the numbers first. We have 3, 5, 3, 5. The lowest number that 3 and 5 go into is 15. And then we've got an x, and no x, so we need an x over there. I'm just going to list our restriction. Okay, multiply each term by our LCD. Okay, 3 goes into the 15 5 times, and the x's will cancel, and we're left with multiply by the top, plus 5 goes into 15 3 times, we've still got that x there, multiply by the top, equals 3 goes into 15 5 times, we've got that x, multiply by the top. 5x will cancel into that 15x 3 times, because 5 goes into 15 3, and the x's will cancel, multiply by the top. Get rid of the brackets, so that gives us 20 plus 3x equals 20x plus 3. X is onto this side, numbers onto that side. So we have 3x minus 20x equals 3 minus 20. 3x minus 20x is minus 17x equals 3 minus 20 is minus 17. This is saying minus 17 times x. The opposite of times is divide. So we divide both sides by that. Those will cancel and we're left with x is equal to, a negative divided by negative is a positive. 17 divided by 17 is 1. Cool. So now what I need to do is just check my restriction. It's telling us that x can't be equal to 0. We don't have that, therefore that this is a solution. All right, grade 9s, moving on to question E. Question E is saying minus 1 plus 3 over 2x is equal to minus 3 minus 2 over 3x. All right, so we don't have any kind of a mixed fraction there, so no converting. I can go straight into finding the LCD. That's over a secret 1 over a secret 1. Okay, look at the numbers first. What is the lowest number that 1, 2, 1, and 3 go into? Well, it's going to be 6. Has an x, no x's, so we need an x. I'm just going to list our restriction. X cannot be equal to 0. All right, multiply each term by our LCD. So we have 6x times that one, 6x times that one, 6x times that one, and 6x times that one. Okay, so 1 doesn't really cancel into anything, so we're just left with the 6x times the top, plus 2 goes into 6 3 times, the x's cancel, and we're left with times the top. Equals 1 doesn't really cancel, so we're left with 6 times minus 3, and then bring down the sign, which is minus 3 goes into 6 twice, the x's cancel, and we just left with the multiplied by the top. All right, 6x times minus 1 is minus 6x, 3 times 3 is 9, 6x times minus 3 is minus 18x, and then minus 2 times 2 is minus 4. We're going to take x's to this side, numbers to that side. Minus 6x plus 18x equals minus 4 minus 9. All right, so minus 6 plus 18 gives us 12x equals minus 4 minus 9 gives us minus 13. Want to get the x on its own, this is saying 12 times x. The opposite of 12 times is divide. What I do to this side, I have to do to that side. Those will cancel, and we're left with x is equal to minus 13 over 12. All right. Now, grade 9s, do not freak out that you're getting a weird fraction like that. It is fine. If your method is correct and you get something like that, hundreds. Okay. Let's just check our restriction. It's saying that x cannot be equal to 0. That's not what we have. Therefore, this is a solution. All right, grade 9, stick around for the second part of this where I finish off this worksheet. Thank you.